Here's a confession. Men don't actually fall for women. They fall for feelings they can't explain, and they attach your face to that chaos. So if you want a man obsessed, don't try to be his dream girl. Be his emotional glitch in the matrix. The thought he can't debug. The one woman whose vibe doesn't fit in his logical little system. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about activating his primal curiosity, ego tension, and reward hormone loop at the same time. Today, I'll show you how to do that. Use it for good, or at least for entertainment. 1. Hit his pattern breaker switch. Men are wired to predict behavior. Predictable equals safe equals boring. So the first step is to violate expectations in micro ways. Not big drama, tiny interruptions that make his brain go, wait, what just happened? Example, he texts, hey beautiful. You reply, hey intellectual property thief. It's not rude, it's disorienting in a playful way. You've just introduced contrast, and contrast breeds memory. Psychologists call it the von Restorff effect. The brain bookmarks whatever doesn't fit the pattern. Translation, the moment you stop acting like every other hey cutie responder, his neurons build a VIP section with your name on it. Congratulations, you're now living rent-free between his frontal cortex and his ego. 2. Create tiny emotional whiplash. Men don't crave peace. They crave emotional velocity. If every interaction feels like a flat road, he zones out. You want him on a roller coaster. Small highs and lows, not chaos. Tease him, then genuinely appreciate him. Challenge him, then drop warmth. Example, you look too calm. Are you plotting something or just pretending to be deep again? Pause, then laugh. Kidding, I actually like how chill you are. It's weirdly rare. He laughs, he relaxes, and boom, dopamine, cortisol, dopamine. That chemical swing locks you in his memory faster than any flirty selfie ever could. Basically, you just hacked his nervous system with sarcasm. 3. Speak to his archetype, not his ego. Most women try to impress a man's current self, his job, muscles, or car. Wrong target. You want to connect with his internal archetype, the version of himself he wishes he was. Every man secretly imagines he's the hero in a movie no one's watching. The trick is to talk to that imagined version. Example, if he's ambitious, say, you have that energy of someone who's quietly building an empire. If he's artistic, your brain looks like it lives in a different century. I love that. You're not complimenting his status, you're validating his story. And when a man feels you see the movie he's starring in, you become the co-star he doesn't want recast. Or use intellectual foreplay. Men fall in lust through the body, they fall in obsession through the mind. So feed his mind what it rarely gets, mental friction. Ask questions that aren't basic. What would you do if money wasn't real? What emotion do you hide the most? Then listen without judging. When a man realizes he's revealing thoughts he's never said out loud, you become his secret vault, and people protect their vaults. You're not flirting, you're conducting a psychological striptease, removing his layers one insight at a time. 5. Radiate selective indifference. Nothing fries a man's brain like a woman who's interested but unbothered. That mix hits his ego and survival drive simultaneously. Text him back, but on your schedule. Laugh at his jokes, but not all of them. Admire him, but never need him. This isn't pretending you don't care, it's showing that your attention is currency, and you spend it wisely. Men chase what they can't fully own. When he realizes your world doesn't revolve around him, he'll start orbiting you. Welcome to gravitational dominance. Population, you. 6. Activate his protective instinct. Without needing rescue, here's the paradox. Men love women who don't need saving, but who occasionally trigger their instinct to protect. You do this with vulnerability mixed with confidence. Example, I pretend I'm fine when I'm exhausted. Terrible habit. Simple, real. It's not drama, it's depth. Makes him feel trusted without feeling used. Now his subconscious labels you as someone precious, not because you're fragile, but because you're rare. So far, you've learned to break his patterns, spark emotional velocity, speak to his inner archetype, feed his mind, stay selectively indifferent, and trigger his protective instinct, all before you've even made a move. But the real obsession begins when you rewire his memory, when he starts missing you while you're still in front of him. In part 2, we'll dive into that dark art, how to plant a psychological echo in his mind, the emotional scarcity loop that keeps him chasing, and the one dangerous phrase that seals the addiction. This is where it stops being cute and starts being science. 7. Plant a psychological echo. A psychological echo is a tiny repeatable stimulus you attach to a specific feeling, then trigger it whenever you want that feeling resurfaced in his mind. Think of it as emotional Pavlovianism, less drooling, more longing. Pick a simple repeatable action, a phrase, "That was dangerously honest," a physical micro gesture, tilting your head, a light fingertip on his wrist, a unique compliment structure. Only you would think that, and that's why it's good. How to plant it. 1. Create a high motion moment, laughter, vulnerability, pride. 2. Immediately perform the micro action or say the phrase. 3. Repeat the pattern across several interactions. Example, after he opens up vulnerably, you smile and say, "That actually fits you." That phrase becomes the sound of being understood. Every time he later hears you say it or imagines you saying it, he'll relive the moment of being seen. That replay is the echo, and echoes hang around. Yes, you're training nostalgia, it's delightful, and slightly diabolical. 8. Build an emotional scarcity loop. Obsession needs a scarcity mechanic. Not "don't reply for 3 days" scarcity, that's obvious and clunky. Emotional scarcity is subtler. It's the predictable unpredictability of reward. Create a loop that goes, he invests effort, you give a high value response, you add a slight delay or a smoother, smaller reward, he invests again for the bigger hit. Make it ritualized. He plans something thoughtful, immediate high appreciation, warmth plus named compliment. He texts an interesting thought, rapid, witty reply, plus a later, deeper follow-up. The delayed reward. He shows vulnerability, immediate comfort, plus a next day unexpected check-in. Why it works. His brain learns the pattern. Effort, meaningful reward, sometimes immediate, sometimes delayed. The variable timing keeps dopamine high. It's the same loop that makes apps addictive, but you are the content he wants. Do not make this an emotional starvation game. Never withhold support in a crisis. Scarcity is about rhythm, not cruelty. 9. Use the one sentence that lingers. Every obsession has a line, a sentence he keeps rewinding. It isn't always flattery, it's specificity plus emotional truth. Examples, you make complicated things feel simple. I like you when you're quietly ruthless about goals. There's a calm in you I didn't know I needed. Make it real. Make it specific to him. Say it once in a private, high-impact moment. He'll remember the tone, the room, the way your eyes held his. That memory becomes his quiet replay. Why it's dangerous, it's not the words that do the work, it's the emotional context you attach to them. Use them to create safety, admiration, or a sense of being chosen. 10. Ritualize availability, not availability ritual. Create rituals where you are reliably present, but in a way that matters. Examples, weekly 30-minute curiosity calls where you dive into a weird topic together. A text he knows will always arrive after his big meeting, short, real, validating. A tiny sign-off ritual, the same 3-word goodbye after every great night. Rituals give people anchors. Anchors create dependency. Make yours meaningful, not obsessive. 11. Let memory do the heavy lifting. People don't stay obsessed because of constant novelty. They stay obsessed because of associations. You want his brain to associate you with 4 things: comfort, intrigue, pride, and tension, the good kind. Do that by being the place he comes to for confidence, comfort plus pride. Being the person who gives him something new to think about, intrigue. Being the one who keeps him engaged without exhausting him, controlled tension. If his mental folder labeled you contains those 4 headers, he won't just like you. He'll need the sensation you create. These techniques work because human brains are predictable. That means they can also be misused. So here's the honest line. If your aim is to manipulate someone who's emotionally fragile, vulnerable, or non-consenting, don't do this. If you want to create genuine attachment built on respect, curiosity, and mutual value, proceed. Power without care is abuse. Power with care, that's charisma. Thanks for watching.